So hi everyone, welcome to my new Halloween tutorial. I really hope you enjoy and let's get started. First I'm going to be priming my skin with the MUA Hydrating Skin Primer, and I'm just going to be applying this using my hands and just moisturising it really deep into my pores, as this is a undress your skin flawless skin primer, but it also hides and eliminates the appearance of pores, and I absolutely love this primer. It really hydrates my skin, and for Halloween makeup you always want to make sure you double triple prime your skin just so nothing slides all over the place at all. And then after this I'm going to be going in with the Revolution Eye Primer and just applying this to my lids and blending it out with a damp beauty blender. You want to also make sure you prime your eyelids so nothing moves, so just make sure whatever you do you always prime using makeup, but especially using Halloween makeup. And then once I've blended all that primer out, I'll be going in with my Urban Decay Naked 2 palette and using the colour Foxy and just setting all that eye primer in place so it will give you a nice base for the eyeshadow to blend on. So then once I've blended all that in, I'll be then doing a cut crease, and I'll be going a bit higher than my normal crease just so it makes my eyes look a lot larger than what they are. And I'll be using the colour Blackout from the Urban Decay palette as well. So with this, you just want to tend to keep your eye open and try and look straight so you can get that nice cut crease higher than your normal crease. And then you're just going to try and measure up the same width and height of that cut crease onto the other eye, and then you're just going to do the same. So then after this, I'll be taking the colour Tease from the Urban Decay palette and just blending it out using a Sigma E25 blending brush, and I'll be diffusing that line just a little bit. So then once I blended that out, I went back in with the colour Blackout and just deepened up that crease a little bit more, but I'm not going below that crease that I've created, I'm going above it. This is just going to extend and open your eyes up even more. And then I went back in with the shade Foxy just to make it not so harsh on the eyes and blend it all out even more with a denser fluffy brush. And then I went back in to cut the crease a little bit more just to make that line just a little bit more prominent. I think that's how you pronounce that word. I can never pronounce that word, but you guys know what I mean. So yeah, I'm just going to be making that line just standing out a little bit more, and then after this I will be blending it out again. At this time you don't really want to worry about the line being really nice and straight and curved, because we are going to be cutting into the crease with the eye primer, and then that's when you need to really be careful because that is going to be the shape that you're going to be left with. So at the moment I'm just blending out all them harsh lines again. So here is where we're going to really take our time and cut into that crease and create the desired shape and even the desired cut crease you actually want. You can make it higher, you know, you can cut into it however you want, and I think this is such a perfect trick just to make that line really clean. So yeah, you can either use concealer. I used eye primer because it was just easier to work with. So yeah, cut into that crease really carefully and use a nice small precision brush, and then you'll get that nice cut crease that you want. So then once you've carved all the crease out, you're going to want to set the lid so nothing moves, and I went in with my Kat Von D Interstellar palette, and I just used the lightest colour which appeared white on my lid, and it was in the shade Graviton. Using a really bright shade like a really light pink or a white is going to make your eyes look even bigger and accentuate them even more. So yeah, just try and stick to a white or a really light pink. This will make your eyes look even more dollified. So then once I've done this, I'm not too sure if dolls wear wing liner, but I really wanted to add a little bit more detail to the eye, so I thought I'd go in with my Urban Decay liquid liner and just do a nice wing. Well, it started off really small, but then I went off camera to fix it a little bit, and then it turned out like a really dramatic wing, but I think it went really well with the look in total. So yeah, you can skip this step or you can include it, it's entirely up to you. So then once I've done this, I'll be going in with the Avon white crayon and just applying this onto my waterline. This is also going to make your eyes appear a lot larger than what they are. And then I'm going to go in with a No.7 Skin Illuminator and just apply this to the highest points of my face and blend this out with a normal beauty blender. I applied this because dolls are very shiny and very plastic look like, so I thought this would look really good underneath the foundation. It also make my skin appear a lot glowier than what it is. And then for a foundation, I went in with two drugstore foundations. I went with Hard Candy with the first one, and this is in the shade Porcelain 776. Then I blended this out with a damp beauty blender. It is a lot lighter than my skin, which is the look that I was going for. And then after I applied the Hard Candy one, I then went in with the Fit Me Maybelline foundation in Ivory 115, and this is the matte poreless one. I just wanted to add more coverage to my skin as I've got quite a few blemishes and dolls have a very smooth complexion, so I was just trying to create that. So then once I blended all this out with my damp beauty blender, I then moved on to my eyebrows. I was going to camouflage my eyebrows out and draw them a lot higher, but then I thought, no, I'm going to keep my eyebrows and make them more bold and stand out. So I went in with my Collection drugstore powder, dip brow powder eyebrow collection. And I'll be using the darkest shade, which is the black, but also mixing it in with the brown. You may think, why is she doing her eyebrows black when she's got brown hair? But I will be wearing a black wig later on, so I wanted my eyebrows to really stand out, but also match the colour of my hair. So here what I'm doing is I'm just creating a higher arch and rounding the top of my eyebrows off to make my eyebrows seem more higher at the top. And I really like my eyebrows, I was really impressed. But anyway, to make them seem a lot higher than what they really are as well. You can also skip this step, but I just thought it added a lot more detail to the structure around my eyes. So yeah, I'll be doing the same to both the eyebrows, rounding them off, making them higher, making them really sharp and really dark. And then once I've done this, I went in just to use a YSL Concealer and just to carve into them a little bit, just to make them a little bit neater, and this will also make your eyebrows stand out a lot more. And then once I've carved into them a little bit, I will be then blending it out with a damp beauty blender. And then I'm just going to be highlighting my face. I'm going to be using the YSL one, as this is the thicker consistency and will give me more coverage. And it's also a tone a little bit more lighter than my LA Girl one. So yeah, I'll be blending that out with a damp beauty blender. I did kind of skip past this bit because it's just my normal routine and I really wanted to get down to the grizzly bit. So yeah, just highlight how you usually would. And then I set everything in place with the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, using the two lightest shades in that palette, which was Lucid and Lyric. And then once I'd done that, I went in with my No.7 Pressed powder and just applied this with a blusher brush from Real Techniques. I went in with a Technic Face Halloween palette, and now what I'm trying to do is actually make the whites of my eyes seem a lot more larger. So I'm going to be drawing the whites of my eyes underneath the eyelash line and coating the bottom lashes in white as well, so you don't see them at all. So I'm just trying to make my eyes look a little bit larger. But then afterwards I realised I'd done them a little bit too big, so I went off camera and just fixed it a little bit, and then I applied some lashes. The lashes are just from Amazon. It's nothing expensive at all. I think there's about £2-3, probably less than that. But here now I'm going back into my collection eyebrow palette and using a lightest shade and just carving out my cheekbones. And dolls have really got the uplifted smile effect on the face, so to create this, you're going to want to smile and contour underneath that line where you're smiling, and then stop smiling and see where you need to add more of that definition, and then you should get your desired look. So then I'm just going to let that powder sit a little bit more and settle on my face, and then I'm going to be going in and drawing the lines on my face just to make it look like my mouth is a talking doll. I forgot what you call these dolls. But yeah, you guys know what I mean. You're getting, like, you know, you got the grip. So I'm just using a Ted Baker liquid felt liner just to draw these lines. I made them really thin, and then I went in to make them a little bit thicker and a little bit more dramatic, and just to make them look a lot more realistic than what they are. Then I let that dry, and then I went to contour my nose with that same eyebrow shade that I'd done on my cheekbones. I'm just using a normal fluffy brush for this. You want to make your contour on your nose really slender, because dolls have really got nice, thin, slender noses. Then moving back onto the mouth, I took that blackout shade from the Kat Von D palette and just blended it in outside the lines. This is going to make it actually look like the lines in your face have actually created a hole. So do some shading, mess around with the makeup, see what works for you, and make sure you blend it out. And then I went back over them lines just to make them a little bit more prominent again. And then once I'd done this, I went back in with that white from the Technic palette and just done some highlighting in the inner corner. This is also going to make it appear like you've got holes in your face. Now for blush, I went in for a really dramatic pink bright brushes. As you know, dolls have really rosy pink cheeks, so you want to pack on that blusher, but also make sure you blend so it doesn't look clownified. So I went in from the MAC palette, and then once I've done that, I then went on to creating the cracks in my face. Now guys, for this I had a reference picture to look at, which is probably the best idea. I took a few ideas from different pictures on Google, and then I created it into my own. I will be wearing a wig, so I placed it in the centre of my face, so that would be the main structure of my face. You can do it wherever. You can do it on your chin, your cheek, even the side of your forehead, which I did do in my trial run. But with this, you just want to be messy, you don't want to be too neat, you don't want to keep the lines straight, so don't worry if the lines are really crooked or are a little bit straight. It doesn't matter, it will add to the effect. So to make it look even more real, you want to round off some of the edges and fill them in with a black liner. This is going to create some holes in your face. And what I like to do when I got to the end of the line where I was finishing off, I'd like to lift my eyeliner pen just a little bit slightly so it looked like it was fading out. So yeah guys, just mess around with this. It's makeup, it's Halloween, it's fun. So, you know, this is the whole point of Halloween. I love Halloween because you can just mess around and play with it. So yeah, don't worry what it's going to look like, because once you've finished it, the look is really going to come together. At this point I was thinking, oh no, I'm doing this absolutely rubbish, but honestly guys, no. Once you've got all your crops on, got your lipstick on, and you do the final look, everything will come together and it will look really, really good. So don't stress yourself too much and don't get disheartened. It will take probably a couple of tries. When I first tried this, when I was practicing for the tutorial, it went completely wrong. So please do not get disheartened. It is Halloween, as I keep saying, and you can play around with makeup. This is the only time where you can mess around and have really good fun with makeup and get really dirty with it. So yeah, just keep practicing and you will get the hang of it, so don't worry. You always want to make a centre point, because in, say for instance, broken glass, it always got a centre point where the cracks have started from. So in my case, it was the start of my nose where I drew that little dot, and that will be the centre. So yeah, just make sure you also have a centre. That will make it look even more realistic on your face. And then here I'm just adding a few more lines, colouring in a little bit more so it looks a little bit more gappy, like there's holes in my face. So then once you've got your base down of the black lines, you want to find like some kind of white crayon, liquid liner, or even the white face paint, and just trace around some of them black lines with a white crayon. This is going to give it a reflection of the broken porcelain doll or even glass, whatever look you're doing. You know, this will make it look even more realistic and actually look like them cracks are actually sitting in your face. So yeah, make sure you do that if you want a realistic look. And then I forgot to go in with highlighter, so I just went in with the Revolution Face Highlighter Palette, and then I just went back over them lines where the highlighter was sitting on. And now for the lips, I went in with the Lime Crime Velvet Pink liquid lipstick and just tried to draw a heart. This was a lot harder than I actually thought, so please don't get disheartened at this point. But honestly guys, I really enjoyed making this tutorial. Let me know what you want to see in the drop down bar. So give me some comments, some tips, what you want to see. And this is the finished result. I know it's been a while, but I really hope you enjoyed it. I am slowly getting back on track with my health and everything, so please don't forget to share and subscribe and hit that like button if you'd like to see more of tutorials. And until next time guys, I'll see you next time. I love you all so much, and bye.